Hugh, curious your take on this from different angles as a former player, and there's obviously a young player here being criticized, and then observing this from a fan perspective. So on Sunday, Kyle went and he did the dunk tank right at the Flyer Carnival.
Him and Bros selling pieces.
Yep, and so a bunch of assembled media is there, and there's all interviews going on. Right, it's a big day for the Flyers. And Rick Tocchet, the head coach, spoke, and he was with PHLY, and he spoke with those guys, and he said he said something that has been said, I'd say more than a few times by Tocchet himself, but this time it caught wind nationally and it blew up. So he was talking about Michkov, right? And Michkov's not had a great season, and part of this may have been that he did not come into camp in particularly great shape, and it's led to not a great season. So the quote that is going around is that Michkov did not come into camp in great shape, Tocchet said, and it's hard to play yourself in shape. So there was that. Then yesterday, Danny Briere, I guess, trying to do a little damage control as everyone across the hockey world is flipping out about this because now it's not just a local story, it's a national story. Here's Danny Briere last night trying to calm everyone down on what's going on with Michkov here.
Rick Tocchet, Matvei Michkov, that's out there. One thing I can tell you, first of all, is Matvei Michkov is not going anywhere. Let's make that clear. Okay, Matvei's going to be here for a long time. He's going to be a good player here for the Flyers, and what he's going through right now is all part of the learning process.
Hugh, your take on the situation where you have a young player who is supposed to be their next, face of the franchise, not played great this year, out of shape coming in. Coach says it publicly multiple times. Now it's blown up, and now the GM trying to come in and be like, everyone calm down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he was out of shape when he got here at the beginning of the season, if I'm not mistaken, because shout out to Ashlyn, because that was one of the stories that she was talking about. Because she was like, the American food or something, like eating cheeseburgers or something, fast food or something. I remember her saying something to that effect. And I thought he was playing himself back into shape, or he was trying to.
Well, and then the coach is saying it's hard to do that during the course of a season.
I mean, and it's one of those things, man, where it's a learning process. He's here. He's on his own. I'm pretty sure that they've probably gave him a nutritionist and probably tried to put him on a regimen, but it's probably hard for him.
So you were once in a spot like this with the Jets. All right.
One tubby.
Okay, so
Two tubby.
We know you had a little problem staying in shape when you were young in the NFL.
Yeah.
Do you have a problem with the team saying it publicly? Like, obviously, if they don't think he's in shape, regardless of why, they got to help him get there, right? So he could become the best player he could be. But this thing has become pretty public. If I was just coming in and parachuting in, I'd say this is the biggest national story of the Flyers season by a lot. Nothing to do with on the ice.
This is weird because this was at the beginning of the season, and it's just
but
where has everybody been?
Yeah,
it's like where's everybody been?
Well, but this is the loudest it's been.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why is all of a sudden now it's become an issue? That's what I don't understand.
Well, because when the GM and the coach are both talking about it, it's hard to ignore it.
Yeah, but it was like not disputing what you're saying, Joe. It's just that was the story when he came into camp, like how he's been here.
Do you think they're wrong to tell us he's out of shape?
No.
Okay.
Because he's a professional, and I know things are probably different. Well, they definitely are different over in Russia than they are here.
Sure.
But as a reformed fat person, somebody who went through this exact same thing, when I came into camp overshaped, they didn't let me leave. Like, this was before the season, and I'll never forget, Coach Ty was like, what have you been doing? Look at your ass. You're so fat. I'll never forget it, dude. I'll never forget it because it was during the time where, like all the supplements and the protein shakes and all that stuff, they weren't as tasty as they are now. Like, it was a new science, the protein market and all that stuff.
Snickerdoodle protein powder.
Man, but no, Kyle, I remember it was called Definition, right? And I used to have to go. They wouldn't let me leave. When I came for OTAs. They call them OTAs now. I came for OTAs. Coach was like, no, you can't go back home. He said, you got to stay here. And I stayed there, man. And I remember I used to have to drink this Definition powder at night. I would eat plain noodles, and I had to get up every morning and go work out. And I had to drop. It was probably like 30 pounds or something like that. And man, it was torture. And I just remember going through that and just then learning how to take better care of my body and stop eating everything. Because I'm a predisposed fat person. Because like in my family, like most African American families, you got a lot of big people. And man, like you have to be careful in what you eat and how you eat. Like, I don't really eat that much fast food. When I do, it's like in moderation. But that's all it is. He just has to get on a plan. I'm surprised, to be totally honest, and I understand that hockey's different and you play more games during the course of the year, but I'm surprised that this is still a story, because I would think that, especially now when you have so much other avenues for nutrition and everything, that it would be a lot easier to lose weight.
So, look, it's obviously Michkov's responsibility to get himself in shape. I think it's a story because the coach and the GM are giving more, or they're breathing life into it.
Yeah.
I mean, they could just cut it off and say, he's fine. We are happy where he is in his development. They're obviously not.
They're probably frustrated with him because he's not losing weight. When I was fat, man, when I was there, they made it their business.
You're speaking from a lot of experience.
Yeah, dude. Listen, they didn't let me leave. I couldn't.
Were they lock you in the room or something?
No, I had to stay. I just had to stay. He was like, "Hey, you need to be up here working out every day."
Kyle, what's your take?
Yeah, all right. Well, I think Michkov's going to be fine. He's going to be fine.
Okay.
Maybe not this year. This is just going to be a setback season for Matvei Michkov. Now, the interesting thing is, I still think he needs to play. Rick Tocchet, I don't have a problem with him calling out Michkov. Like this, that's hockey culture. This isn't, the National Homies League.
Just came up with the homies. The home gifts for the homies.
They are more blunt.
They are. I mean, and Tocchet's no stranger to calling people out. Like, he's called people out before this season. I mean, he said players were nervous, players were disinterested. Like, this is kind of what Rick Tocchet does.
Sounds like he's frustrated.
This is what hockey coaches do. He is frustrated. But I think there's a little bit of a disconnect between him and the organization. It's why I sort of question just the Rick Tocchet hire in general. Tocchet's not really a coach that you bring in to develop a young group of players. He's more of a coach that you bring in if you're trying to win. And this team's not ready to win. So, like, it almost feels like a little bit of a punishment for Michkov to diminish his ice time.
Right.
But he's a developing player.
What's the point? What is the objective of the season?
There's no point.
Yeah.
Because Tocchet's trying to win games, and we're trying to move these kids along. I mean, the best case scenario here is that Michkov spends more time on the ice with his teammates, with his line mates, and they develop chemistry and stuff.
I would think so.
Whether he's slower or not.
Well, that's when to your point, Kyle, when I heard Briere speak, that's what I kind of thought. Like, he's part of our future.
Right.
So, like, we are invested in him.
Right. So this isn't about a today thing. This isn't about how can I win this game and who can I put out there, what best combinations I can put out there to go win this game. This is about developing these kids because they're not winning anything this year. I mean, they're just not.
Right.
Like, I mean, now even looking like sneaking into the playoffs might be a pipe dream for this team. He has to play because he is the future. I mean, the Flyers are like the future of the Flyers hinges way more on Matvei Michkov becoming a good player than Rick Tocchet.
Of course. You know what I thought of when I heard this? When we've heard the story. You're right, Hugh, for months. But like when it blew up this weekend with Tocchet's comments on Sunday and then Briere last night. It reminded me of Joel Embiid early in his career. Remember, Joel Embiid, when he hurt his foot and he had multiple surgeries on his foot, the reports were he ballooned to like 300 pounds, and he was totally out of shape. He wasn't going to treatments. He wasn't keeping himself in shape, whether or not he was down in the dumps because he couldn't play or maybe he just wasn't exercising the right way. Hugh, do we give these guys grace? Michkov and Embiid a decade ago, when you come from a different country, a different culture, and you're here and you're kind of by yourself, and you got to try to keep yourself in shape. I have to imagine there's got to be something to it's got to be a little bit harder than maybe we're thinking to do the right things. Like you're in a different world. Like,
yeah, and the food is prepared differently.
It's worse here. I mean, it's called for what it is.
Yeah, it's prepared differently, man. So yeah, it's one of those things. I just don't understand. Like for me, like I said, when I was overweight, I had to stay. And that was obviously in the off season. So I had time. And I know, if I remember the story correctly, when he came in, it was when the season was about to start. But you still, like, that's been a couple of months. And I don't know how big he is, but if you're doing or they've put you on the path, this shouldn't be a story. In my opinion, if Matvei Michkov is here by himself, and I'm invested in him, then guess what I'm doing? I'm getting him a nutritionist. I'm getting him somebody, even if it comes out of my pocket, that's going to prepare his meals for him. And if he wants to eat McDonald's, okay, Matvei, you can have McDonald's once a week. it's about everything isn't about a moderation, man. It's about moderation, and there are certain things and certain ways you can prepare food. Because, like, for me, a long time, French fries was that was my Achilles heel.
Who doesn't love a good French fry?
But
putting the fries in the bag and in your stomach.
Here's the kicker. I learned how to make my own French fries where you cut up potatoes and
homemade
you spray
fries?
a little olive oil on them.
Now we're talking.
And then you put them in the oven and bake them. It's the same thing, but it's not all those chemicals and everything.
Yeah.
There's ways around it, man. You just have to figure it out. You have to figure it out. Like when I go to the games, I eat the cheesesteak, but I won't eat the bread. You know
and
what
we
I mean?
know with the glizzies.
I don't eat the glizzy. Yeah, I ain't eating the bread. But there's certain things you have to do, man. If you're really locked into the lifestyle change, this shouldn't be a story.
Yeah, ultimately, I have no issue with Rick Tocchet calling out the player. Like, get your bleep together, dude. You're a professional now. It's time for you to grow up. And if you want to be a professional and you want to be an elite player in this league, then you need to take that stuff seriously. I don't think that's any different across any sport. I just find it odd the way that they're going about it, like in practice. You know what I mean? Like he can say what he wants. If he wants to call him out, that's fine. I want to see him play. I think he needs to play.
And that's
like
what I'm saying. And I would think, and to be honest, man, hockey, skating, don't you lose about 10 to 15 pounds a night if you're really like getting after it?
So it's a weird thing that I don't think it's like basketball in that you can just play your way into shape.
Obviously not. I mean, it's February.
I'm saying about 50 games.
Again, I don't know.
This is a next season thing.
But isn't part of the issue when you're playing hockey, if you're carrying all the equipment around and stuff, you tend to drop weight.
Well, that makes you wonder what he's doing when he's not playing.
Right. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
That's why it reminds me of the Embiid thing. And Embiid couldn't take care of himself for years.
So that's what I'm saying. If say, for instance, if you're skating, you're playing every other night. You drop 2 to 3 pounds a night, but you're putting that protein back in your body, helping you stay strong. This shouldn't be a story.
You know, a year ago, Hugh, you offered your services to the Sixers as a PR guy. Perhaps you offer your services to the Flyers. We know Jonesy as a nutritionist.
Ooh, private chef.
I know some people. We can.
No, you're the one. That does.
We know we can make happen. Jones ain't called. I don't. He been. I'm not saying he acting funny because I know he's busy. He's busy.
Yeah.
I mean,
but if Jonesy needs me, I got it. Yeah,
just
I got
act funny by definition.
That's true. That's
just what
he does.
No, I'm saying if you need me, I got him, dog. I got him.
That is the headline that the Flyers need. Flyers hire Hugh Douglas as Michkov's nutritionist.
I wonder what is his kryptonite since he's been here. Because everybody got that go-to.
Yeah. Most fast food in America is pretty bad for you.
Yeah,
so
but I'm just saying,
eating,
what is his kryptonite that every day he goes home?
What was yours in 1995?
Ooh, man, listen, let me tell you. This was not so much 95. This was when I was living in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. I would go get a pound cake from Publix, right?
Okay.
I get a pound cake, right? And then I get a box of ice cream.
Oh, no.
And I would cut half of the cake and take half of the box of ice cream and put it in a big-ass mixing bowl.
You must have blown up like a tank.
So, it's no wonder you got fat.
Listen. Like my downfall was sweets. Not so much, burgers and nothing like that.
Yeah.
But, man, I would go but that would be like the pound cake and the ice cream would be my cheat meal for like a Friday.
Yeah.
Like, so I would eat the pound cake and the ice cream.
It's a good Friday.
I'm done. Because I would eat one half in one sitting.
And then another half another
Then
sitting?
I eat the other half. So that's like a day. That's my whole, that was my Friday meal. Was a pound cake and ice creams. But it had to be Publix vanilla.
You know what?
Yeah.
Sounds like a fun Friday we should do on the show.
Yeah. So, Friday?
Friday.
Disgusting food combinations that will make you fat.
You don't think pound cake and you think that's disgusting?
No, I think it sounds good.
I think it's.
Awesome.
It sounds like an artery clogger.
Yeah.
No, it
in that way,
definitely. It was definitely good.
Just to, I guess, sort of put a bow on the Flyers thing and illustrate the disconnect between the organization and the coach. Jonesy the other day did say that sometimes, or he thinks that the coaching staff needs to be reminded about playing young players during a rebuild.
Well, that's a pretty strong statement.
So he took a shot.
Yeah.
He took a shot.
He said it's important we keep reminding them to play our young players and involve them in the process of getting better. That's the only way to get better.
Him and Taki boys.
Do you think
they used to work together here?
Do you think that is the reminder, or is it happening also behind the scenes? Because that's a public reminder that we all know about. Yeah, it sounds The more I hear about this, it feels like the issue may be more than just a young player out of shape. It's above that.
I agree.
Yeah,
that's why the whole thing is weird.
Hold on, wait a minute. Let's get to the bottom of this. Let's be reckless. So you think Jonesy and Taki got beef?
Well, I think there might be a disconnect between the front office and the coach.
Hold up, but I'm just saying.
One hockey segment on the show for Hugh to start recklessly speculating.
No, listen, because that's a direct
the Flyers
shot.
were like, no, stop, Hugh. You
are a jack of all trades.
10 minutes. Stop.
You are a jack of all trades.
That's a direct shot at the coach, though.
Of course it is.
So that's what I'm saying. Jonesy, y'all got beef. What, they got beef? They got beef in they got beef in the organization?
Well, look, I mean, it's the one sport where your beefs can quite literally be settled by fighting.
That is true. Well,
you think Jonesy still got it in him?
Yeah.
Because Tockett looked like he still...
Tockett would definitely look like he does.